I'm doing well. I actually was talking to a couple other guys. I think from a veteran standpoint, it's not too bad. I think for me per se, I kind of have my normal workout regimen that I kind of take myself through in the off season. Um, and I'm really still on pace with that. So just trying to continue to figure some things out once we get a little bit closer to Kent. But as of now, again, I mean, having 2 hours of meetings a day, I mean, as a vet, I mean, again, I mean, you still, as long as you're getting your work in, you have a lot more time, so again, being able to do the meetings and kind of get my workouts done and so like that on my own, it hasn't been too much of an issue at all.
I saw some of the videos you're posting, like I'm assuming that's your backyard or like your home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you've been able to kind of stick with your routine. I mean, that has to feel at least like some kind of normalcy for you.
Definitely. I think the biggest thing for me is, just getting caught up in sometimes figuring out like how much am I doing, because again, I don't want to do too much, but I also don't want to do too little, so it's, again, just kind of trying to continue to find that, sweet spot as far as what I'm doing. I had the like normal schedule or kind of where we would be right now in our OTA kind of period sent to me just so I can get an idea just as far as, what we kind of been doing. So the past couple of weeks, I tried to take myself through kind of like a phase one kind of period, which is typically for us just strength and conditioning with also a little bit of route running and stuff like that.
As a vet, though, can you appreciate the fact that you have this downtime? Because the season's a grind from OTAs until the end,
I think
till
that's
the
the
middle of
biggest
winter.
thing. I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing, being able to just appreciate that. Again, like you said before, for me, just kind of getting myself ready for the season. Unfortunately for a lot of guys, right now is a time for them to be able to compete and make a 90-man roster and kind of position themselves going into camp, so they don't have that. But again, for me, it's about getting ready for the season. So I'm able to kind of continue to take care of my body, and not have as much wear and tear as OTAs, because I'm going through a little bit more orchestrated kind of workouts by myself, So again, as I'm just continuing to process and build up and get ready for camp.
You have to be pleased with the way your season went last year. What are some of your goals for this upcoming season and for this offensive unit?
Always my number one goal is to be available for all 16 games and then the playoffs. I pretty much, that's definitely my, the priority of my goals, because I feel like if I do that from a position of where I put my team and statistically and everything like that, I think that I'll be able to kind of, be right where I want to be at. And then I definitely want to catch 100 balls this year. I think that was something that would have been pretty cool, but I'm actually glad, looking back at it, that I did it, so I definitely can kind of have that little bit of an edge, as I kind of process through these spring workouts and training camp workouts, so that's definitely one as well. But just help my team get back to the playoffs. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think for me, looking back at it, I don't think we were far from where we were at the year prior. I think that, finishing 8-8, I think that we could have easily gone 10-6. Again, that's my opinion, but I think that, with the kind of football that we played, wasn't too much different. Again, we played a number one schedule. We had a lot of injuries, but I think for us finishing 8-8 with the amount of injuries that we had on both sides of the ball, I think for us, I thought we handled that really well. We were right on the cusp of being in the thick of things until about week 15. We had guys like Akeem Hicks hurt for a good part of the year. Danny Trevathan hurt for a good part of the year. We were without Trey Burton, one of our tight ends. We had Taylor Gabriel miss some games. We had a lot of guys miss games, Prince Amukamara. So for us, finishing 8-8 and really a kick away from finishing for sure 9-7. I thought that guys handled that well and played good football. I don't think we're far off at all from where we want to be.
You're obviously someone that's established in the kind of player that you are, the kind of performance that you give on the field. What gives you that, you were talking about that edge? What is your drive? What is your edge to know, okay, I can do better. I like where I'm at, but what is your push?
I think for me, it's just always want to be the best receiver in the league. I think something that also gives me an edge is, I would say I go a little bit out of my way I see everything that people say from the media standpoint, and for me, that's not a negative influence. It actually influences me extremely positive. I think about those things when I'm working out. I think about those things when I'm going through training camp. I think about what people, what people say and things like that, and for me, that's what drives me, to get up and want to, go work out. I may be sore, I may be tired, or through training camp, it may have been a long day prior. When I think about, what I want to be able to say when it's all said and done for myself versus what people may be currently saying, those are things that kind of stick in my head to really give me the edge.
Thoughts on Nick Foles coming to the team?
It's been exciting. Again, just from talking to other guys, that have played with him, that I have played with as well. Just hearing about the teammate that he is and what he brings to the table as a player, what he brings to the locker room, and what he brings to a culture. I think that's big. I think whenever you have additions to any team, at any position, you want to continue to try to enhance your culture, that you have, and I think that's what we did with signing guys like him, signing guys like Jimmy Graham, like Tashawn Gibson. I played with him also in Jacksonville. So being able to bring some of these pieces in, and Ted again, being able to bring these pieces in, I think you add to already what's a good culture. I think you just continue to make that better.
The schedule's out. It's something tangible because we don't know. There's so much uncertainty going on right now in sports, but the schedule's released. Hypothetically, if everything goes according to plan, what were some of the games that jumped out to you? Did you circle any of them? Did you have there's a couple good primetime games that you guys have. What kind of jumped out at you?
Yeah. Just off the top of my head, definitely playing back in Jacksonville. That's something that popped off for sure. That's something that was brought to my attention actually last year. Even before, so I knew that game would be on the schedule this year. Definitely looking forward to that. And then also again playing against some of my close buddies. Like one of my buddies plays left tackle in Tampa. So it'll be fun to play against him. Same one of my close buddies plays for Green Bay. Those games are always fun to play in. But I think the biggest thing for us is just it's an exciting time in itself because I think for us we had a challenge to be able to, again, like I said, to get back to where we want to. I think that's the big thing, and I think that everybody should, take it personal through this off season, and really want to get back to where we were. Because again, I think we have a very talented team. We have a good team. I think we're right there knocking on the door.
I've heard a lot of different perspectives, but if you have to imagine playing a game without fans in these stadiums, it kind of takes away the home and away environment kind of thing. What is your perspective? How do you visualize that, and what do you think of when you think of playing a game with no fans?
Yeah, it'll be. I know it's tough. It'll almost be like a scrimmage, kind of like a practice, so to speak. So, I think from a standpoint, it will be a lot different. I think that I saw a couple people come out and say that it'll be kind of like soothing, if you will. But I think for me, that's what you play for. Even for me in Little League, we always wanted to play kind of like that prime time game, or we always want to, get to the championship because that's when the most people would come watch. You have people, families and extended families come watch, and whether if it was, high school, from JV to varsity, playing that last game, that's what you play the game for. You play the game to win, but you also play with the camaraderie of your teammates and also with just the effect of the atmosphere. So it will be a lot different. I think it'll affect guys differently. I think that it'll take some guys, a little bit more to get up on game day as opposed to when you're going out there to warm up. You see 30 or so thousand fans. So I think it'll be different. I think that everyone will kind of make it through and make best of it. But I think it definitely will take some time to get adjusted to.
How do you think a team can stay? Because you guys don't have the physical contact with each other right now. You're not hanging out with each other. You're kind of all doing your own thing. We're all doing our own thing. How can a team kind of keep the team chemistry and kind of keep that going if it takes until September, until we're all reunited again? How important is that for a team to stay that way?
I think just over communication, I think just being in contact, whether that's checking on guys, maybe just, talking about whether if it's, a TV show like The Last Dance or talking football, or just maybe even once this thing kind of hopefully settled down a little bit, maybe getting together and kind of throwing before training camp, so just trying to figure out some ways that you can do different things. I know guys play video games together and stuff like that, but just try to keep some camaraderie if you can, whether that's, again, talking football in a group chat or, breaking down some film with some of the guys, but I think it's ways to kind of simulate it a little bit. Obviously we won't be able to, keep it exactly the same because we're not physical there, and getting reps with each other and being able to get that actual on the field camaraderie. But, I think you still can kind of keep those things going a little bit.
You mentioned it. What are your impressions of The Last Dance? Are you watching it when it's live?
I am
watching
it? And it's pretty remarkable. I think that just being able to see, actually being in the city of Chicago, you know, and also being able to see, you know, how Michael Jordan was and just kind of how the time was in Chicago. You know, it's funny now because you see everything and all the talks are of the Chicago Bulls and things like that. And you hear Bulls fans talk, but it's like, I mean, Bulls fans had it pretty good for a while, you know. So, I mean, right now, you know, they're kind of going through whatever they're going through. But, you know, they definitely had more, you know, victories than dog days, you know. So, but it's been fun to watch, you know, and again, just kind of seeing the competitive nature and just seeing how those guys from a winning standpoint kind of mesh with each other, you know, from Phil Jackson, seeing how the coach he was and, you know, how he kind of had his own relationship with each individual player and how he knew how to motivate each individual player and kind of handle different things, and just seeing the push and pull of a leader and of a competitor with Michael Jordan, you know. So it's definitely been awesome to watch.
What's your view when it comes to, you know, there's a lot of talk about how sports can unite people, and it gives it, you know, it's a distraction to our lives. And obviously right now we don't have any of it. So people are kind of chomping at the bit for any kind of sports. From your perspective, what do you think having sports back on television again is safely, obviously, but having it back and giving people something to kind of join together, what does it mean to you and to be a part of something like that?
And I think that definitely means a lot. I think when you just talk about sports in general, I think it doesn't have much to do with culture. It doesn't have much to do with race, ethnicity, anything like that. You know, it's a game that people can go out and enjoy, you know, whether if it's the top dog or whether if it's the underdog. You know, I think that's something that really brings everybody together to be able to go and see, you know, a competitive sport being played, whether that's basketball, football, baseball, whatever the case may be, you know. So I think it'll do a lot for everybody. You know, unfortunately, we won't, you know, I don't know how the fans and things like that will be for this up and coming season, but I do know one thing, that when it's all said and done, people are able to go back to game. You know, I think that's going to be a very emotional experience, I think, for everyone, you know, even as players, you know, being and seeing everything that's going on now and possibly playing in a pretty empty stadium, to when that day does come, when it's back filled again, you know, I think that'll be a special time for everyone.